Hello, job seekers. Melanie here with CGL Recruiting. And today we're going to be covering the 3 most important fields that you as a job seeker need to know about that exist in almost all applicant tracking systems. Now, these are the 3 fields that are most likely going to knock you out. So I want to make sure you understand them, and we'll take a look at them in one applicant tracking system so you can kind of see how they work and get a chance to better understand how to position yourself to get through that applicant tracking system search so you get more time by somebody looking at your resume. Okay, now if you haven't subscribed yet, please take a moment and do that now. And what I'm going to ask for your help on this video is, for those of you that have been watching our videos for a while, we are on a mission to try and help as many job seekers as we can. It's been a rough year and a half for job seekers with the worst job market there has ever been. Please help us by sharing these videos with other job seekers. All of these resources are free and will help you land a job faster. Okay, so let's talk about what these 3 fields are one at a time, and then I'm going to take a look at them. We're going to look into LinkedIn Talent Finder, LinkedIn Recruiter, which is an applicant tracking system like any other, and we're going to show you how these fields work and how they rule you in or out of that job search. And you know how I hate when you fall out of a job search. So the first one that we're going to take a look at is job title. Now, you may be saying to yourself, what? How can I fall in and out of a search with job title? Now, this is actually one of the biggest ones that you're going to see that is within your control. So when you're considering job title on your resume, if your job title was Tiger team member, but you were an accountant, that's not something that the system's going to be able to translate. Somebody is going to enter in an actual job title that I'm looking for people that were mechanical engineers. I'm looking for people that were accountants. And if you don't match the job title that they enter, you fall out of the search. Now, this is even more important. It's one thing when you're applying into a system, and then there may be a better chance of them looking at you. They're still going to use the applicant tracking system. But you really need to keep this into consideration when you're taking your data and doing it in a system like LinkedIn or RigZone or Career Builder or Indeed, where you're saving who and what you are. Because then they're definitely going to be saying, okay, how do I look at all, like on LinkedIn? How do I look at 750 million profiles? Well, I want to look at people who are mechanical engineers. And they're going to enter that into the job title. Let me show you this in LinkedIn Recruiter so you can see this field right now. So in LinkedIn Recruiter, these things that are over here on the left, these are the search filters. And you see there's the spotlight search, which is LinkedIn's kind of, specialty searches they do. But what is the very first one that's here? Job title, job title, job title, job title. And when you enter something, like let's say I am entering in mechanical engineer into the job title, it's going to give me choices. Do I want to include candidates who are currently, here it is, that are currently mechanical engineers or in their past have been, that are only current, past not current, or past? Now, most systems, most applicant tracking systems have some way. It's not always these same 4 little radial buttons you pick, but usually there is a current button. And here's the danger. If they click that current button, which most times they do because they don't want to see people who have moved past this role, and your title was not currently a mechanical engineer, it was an operations leader, you might fall out of the search. So you need to make sure that whatever your title is, it represents well the titles that you want to get picked up for. Is it okay to translate your title from one thing to another on a resume? It is okay. It is okay. It's not okay to lie about the title or the level. So what's the distinction there? If you were a Tiger team member, but you're really an accountant, you can put, a Tiger team specialist / accountant, and the systems will still pick you up as an accountant. It just has to be somewhere in that top job title area. So job title, incredibly incredibly important when you have your LinkedIn profile or any system that you're adding data into, that it's going to match the search that they're going to do in the applicant tracking system. Okay, let's take a look at the second one that is very, very critical, and that is location. And let me show you location. So down here, you're going to see right under job title, there is location. And the same thing on most locations, there's current, or in LinkedIn Recruiter, current or open to relocate only. Now, this is not the same in all applicant tracking systems. A lot of them only have current location. A lot of them do not have some type of relocation. The newer ones all do, the better ones all do, right? Because you get the opportunity to go in there and put your areas, and if you're willing and open to relocate, in the newer systems. The older ones, not so much, or the homegrown ones, it's something that they forget. So if you are given this option, you do want to make sure you put it in. But this can also be why it's very important if you are trying to get a job in Houston, because you're going to be moving there in the next week and you currently live in Atlanta. If you put your current location as Atlanta, it's going to totally, completely drop you out of the search because they're only going to look at the current people. So can you change your current location to Houston? Yeah, if you know you're going to be, that's easily explainable when you get through to the hiring manager in HR saying, well, I'm going to be moving there in a week. I'm not quite there, but yes, you can absolutely do that without feeling like you lied. Now, if you have no intention of being there, you may need to somewhere put it on your resume or in the information that you provide in, like a cover letter, saying that you are open to relocating to this city. So it is something that does rule you in and out of the applicant tracking system. So make sure you're aware of that when you're doing all of your online applications. Okay, let's look at number 3. The third one is education. Now, you may have seen some of our videos where we went through and showed you the different resume formats and such. We know from history and from the different studies that have been done that education is one of the biggest gates that recruiters and sourcers jump to. A lot of times you can end up with an entry-level sourcer who doesn't even understand what you do. They may have never worked in a large company. They're working for a smaller recruiting firm. They're doing the best they can, but what they have in front of them is a job description. And the job description will say, like, this position requires a degree in accounting. And they're like, okay, it requires that. So I don't want to look at anybody without it. So they're going to go into their applicant tracking system and pull education. And unless you have that bachelor's degree in accounting, you're not going to come up in their search, and they're not going to look any further. Now, this is one of those things that you can't, there's not any way to translate this. Well, let me take that back. There is a way to translate if you're international. But if you don't have the degree, do not lie and put that you have a degree. Don't ever, ever lie on your resume or any other information. It's just unethical, and it's going to come back to bite you, and you're going to get terminated for falsifying company data. But if you have done any work towards a degree, it's okay to put on your resume, completed 24 classes in pursuit of a bachelor's of blah, 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 right? Anything that you put on there that helps explain what you do have is fine. Now, I did say quickly about the translating. If you went to an international overseas outside of the U.S. and you're applying into the U.S. and you got instead of a master's degree in engineering, it was called something different. You can translate that of saying received a master's in da-da-da-da, which is equivalent to a master's in da-da-da-da. Just make sure it actually is equivalent and something that is going to be seen as such. These are the 3 most important applicant tracking system filters that you're aware of. Again, job title, education, and location. If you don't understand how these work, you're going to end up falling out of the searches. If you have any questions that you'd like to ask further about these, please feel free to go ahead and put a comment down below. I will do my best to answer each and every one that comes through. All right, everyone, as always, thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.